retirement age, 6 years after retirement, they have to go back to work because the money is gone. 96% of black businesses, there's only one. We don't even make enough money to share the wealth. That's the issue to me. You got to build this generational wealth. What does that really, truly mean? And how do we go about? First thing that any of them that they start with from our funds, they never get a chance to compound. They never ever get a chance to compound because we're always utilizing it. I see it, oh man, let's go make that bag, and they want to jump on the mountain right here and just make that bag without having this foundation, and it always falls down. The rule of 72 is very impressive, but once we are not disciplined enough, actively get your hands dirty, find out, do your research, find out if the investment that you're going into, is it going to be a good investment? What's up guys, your partner Frankie P. I heard a startlingly statistic the other day that said that African Americans are the number 10 when it comes to producing income in America. I believe the median income is like $36,000 per year. Got me kind of perturbed and maybe down a little bit. Truly was not expecting that ranking or that number. But the reason we started doing these videos is because we were looking to educate you to hopefully start beginning to become an investor, understanding some of the ins and outs, some of the challenges of being an entrepreneur, especially if you're a W-2 entrepreneur and you're a part-time entrepreneur. It is a struggle. Another statistic says that 96% of black businesses, there's only one. We don't even make enough money to share the wealth. That's the issue to me. So what typically ends up happening is we want to build longevity and out here, man, we got to make this money. We got to build this generational wealth. What does that really, truly mean? And how do we go about getting this generational wealth? So I wanted to tackle that. And you probably can't see it because there's a little light on the board. It's the Old Money VIP playbook. So I've been doing research on old money. How is it made? Old money, how is it made? But more importantly, how is it kept? I've been caught in this trap. I've been caught in the trap for years, and that's why I'm sharing it with you. So hopefully we can get off of this merry-go-round, round and round and round, and we can begin to set ourselves as a community, and we can build something truly great for the next generation. But it all starts with all of the research that I have done, not the money. And on there, want to jump on the top, want to make that bread. Come on, baby, let's do this. What the first thing, the very first thing that any of the families, whether it's the Rockefellers, whether it's the Kennedys, whether it's the Rothschilds, regardless of what it is, the one thing that they start with is a value. You have to have a value. The first thing, what are your values? I believe this one important question, because this is going to dictate how your business, how your life will run. Most of them have values for the family. This is so critically important that I believe that we should take, at bare minimum, a couple of hours just to write down what our values are. So number one, what are your values? What are your values? Your values guide you. This will be a guide regardless of what area of expertise you decide to go to, whether you're going into railroads, steel, however, banking, all of these ways that families were making money. The one thing that they had were values. That's where they started. The values started everything. Number two, where's the mindset? I know this is a little light, this ink's a little light, but hey, we're gonna work with it. Number two, what's the mindset? When I'm researching, the families often readers. They're always trying to take in knowledge. And it's this darkness that not only if they are going to school, to college, but they're not going to college or school for what we believe they're going for. They're going for networking. They're going to find others who they can network and build with the same like-minded person. So first they have values. The second is the mindset. What type of conversations are you having with your friends and family? Is it strictly about, man, what's up, man? You see what happened on that game, man? You see what happened on that game? What's happening with Dak? Okay. Are those the conversations you having, or are the conversations? Let's talk about chapter 1 of the book, or chapter 3 of this book that we're reading. I'm reading one book now. It's what would the Rockefellers do? Just to get in the mindset of how the Rockefellers would think. I might not have the Rockefellers' money yet, but I can get those values. I can start with the values. I can start with my family, and we put a value system together, and that is the structure and gives us the direction of where we want to go. You can start with your values and your family, and that's the direction your family would go. So number one, let's start with the values. Number two, let's continue to build our mindset. Leaders are readers. You've heard it before. Leaders are readers. We have to continue to sharpen our mind. We have to continue to sharpen our mind. The third thing I found, and I'm guilty of this, I'm seriously guilty of this, is before we even get into how we're going to get the bag, you must have discipline. You have to learn how to become disciplined. You know, we want to be these, this grand, I call it the BS of entrepreneurship. We want to be these grand entrepreneurs, but we don't have discipline. When I say discipline, what do I mean? We don't have discipline to pay ourselves first. We don't have discipline to not rob from our own company. If we borrow, then, oh, well, we don't really have to pay it back. Yes, you do. If you don't, you're robbing from yourself. If you take a loan from your local bank, you're going to pay them back. If you take a loan from your 401k, whatever it is, pay yourself back. Don't say, oh, well, that's just a bill that I don't have to pay. Thinking with the wrong mindset. The mindset and the discipline comes before any strategy, or the strategy will always fail. The strategy will always fail. The fourth thing, number 4, they're always are about protection, which I know it's a little light, but that's insurance. Insurance, because these grand plans that we have together, if we don't get there, how is our family going to continue? We put the values together, but we don't have the insurance. We don't have the insurance. So when we pass away, it's gone. Your income, your mindset is gone. So the next thing is they always put some type of insurance, even if it might be a term policy. Now, and I'm not going to go into what's better, what's worse, but if you can't afford it, just get a term policy that will cover you until you can get the rest of this play into place. So we're going to start with the values, then we're going to get our mindset together, then we're going to have discipline. You must have discipline. If without discipline, I don't care what business you start, it's going to fail. It is going to fail. Promise you, it's going to fail. Cover yourself, protect your family, get the coverage that your family needs. I'm going to share, this video is not about going deep and dive, but I'll give you a deep dive into my family, what we're particularly doing, and I'll share that with you. I'm not telling you it's right. I'm not telling you it's wrong. I'm just telling you how we are moving, and possibly you can utilize it yourself. If you could take what you want from us and put it to work where you believe your value system is. Our value system may not be your value system. We may not be able to mesh and work together, but ultimately we have a value system, and we are looking, the reason we're doing this is because we are looking for like-minded individuals to help us build. We are in a situation where if we collectively put our money together, and when we talk to other people that we believe have money, sometimes they don't, because we're always chasing the bag and we haven't decided what type of values we want. We don't have money saved up. So here it is. Insurance, that's the second part of this. Insurance and savings. That's this part that goes with this. Protection and begin to save. We have to learn how to save. The discipline is what's going to assist us to begin to save. I've been living so many years and, oh man, it's going to happen. But until you get the discipline to daily put this, whether it's 5%, 10%, there's a number, there's a rules. I'm not going to go over the rules today, but there are rules that a certain percentage that you should put away every paycheck for yourself. That's where the discipline comes in. Protect yourself and save. Okay. Now we can start getting to the VIP. That's what it's called the old money VIP. When I talk about VIP, there are different ways. Now what we're looking at is debt. We need to get ourselves out of debt. Debt is a horrific problem, especially in our community. It's a horrific problem in our community. But we need to get ourselves out of debt so we can make getting this bag work for us. We on the hamster wheel. We making the money to give it away. Make the money to nobody out there done done that. No, we're not even gonna go there. But we make the money just to give it away because we're in so much debt and we're trying to dig so much dirt out. And then next thing you know, there's a pile up over here and there's a pile up over there, and we can't, and we're digging ourselves in a deeper ditch because we haven't effectively been taught how to get out of debt, the discipline, and to stay out of debt. So now we can start talking about different tools that you can use. There's, whether you're using the Avalanche, whether you're using the debt snowball, whether you're using velocity banking, and obviously you can tell because it's the VIP, I'm probably more leaning towards velocity banking, but I'm not going to tell you that's the right way or the wrong way. All of them will work, but you have to work it. You have to have a value system and the discipline to enact this. That's the V. The V is to get out of debt. I'm partial to velocity banking. I like it. So, and I'll go into some of the other tools that you can utilize, but these are tools now. Now we're just talking about different tools. Most of the videos that you see that's exciting on YouTube, they're talking about the tools you can use, the strategies you can use, shortcuts, without telling you about the values or the mindset you need to have in order to make these tools work long term. So we're going to get out of debt. First, we're going to get the values and the mindset, discipline, insurance and saving, get ourselves out of debt. Now we can get to the sexy part. The I is, now you can begin to invest. Now you can begin to invest. Now that you have the foundation set, now you can go up the pyramid and you can begin to invest. You can find, what can I do with this additional money that I've saved, that I've put together, that I've put to the side. Now I've found this particular investment and I want to go within this investment. But you have to have a strategy. Now you can go invest. Laundromats, car washes. Like I said, this is where your strategy that you feel that's going to work for you, whether it's real estate. Obviously, I'm particularly into real estate. So we are, like I said, we look for people who would like to build in the real estate industry. We can't do all the deals by ourselves. Sometimes we do have a little bit of extra money and we can help fund some of the deals, or we can work together. That's why we do these videos, because if you have that type of mindset and you have the value system that we have and you've already have that foundation, now we can work together to invest. And then I call this one active investing. This means you have to be active. You know, most of us want to sit back and have, when I'm getting ready to get to the last one that I've always been chasing. Most of us always chasing, but you have to actively get your hands dirty, find out, do your research, find out if the investment that you're going into, is it going to be a good investment? What are the risks that are associated? Because risk means there could be loss. Are you prepared for the loss that it could take if you do an investment wrong and you're just jumping into it? So you have to do that research. You may not want to leave it up to someone. You have an investment banker. Let me just give them my money. I saw this. There was a study and there was a 15-year study. I'll come back and I'll put it down who did the research. But it was an S&P 15 year. They looked at how your money would grow over a 15-year period of time up until 2022. So 15 years back from 2022, whatever that number is. Then they showed that the average on the S&P 500, putting your money into the S&P 500, you would get a 7.7% rate of return on your money in those 15-year periods. Now here's the key. Watch this. If you were to miss 10 of the best days that they had during that 15-year period time frame, if you missed the 10 best days, your investment would only get you 2.6% return. 2.6. If you missed the 10 best days out of 15 years, you would only get a 2.6% return. If you missed 30 of the best days, that $10,000 investment that would have grown at 7.7% to 30,000, which is not bad. If you had it at the 2%, that 10,000 would grow. I think the number was 16,000. That same 10,000, if you missed the top 30 days of this S&P 500 fund, you would be negative 2.6%. You would lose in 15 years. You would only have $6,000 remaining in your account. Put $10,000 in 15 years later if you missed the top 30 days. So it has to be a plan that's put into place. And then if you're just giving it away to an investment advisor, they just passed the test. They studied, they got their securities license, and they ask questions. What is your risk tolerance? High, medium, low? Okay, here's the funds. Let's do it. You can do that. The only thing that they did was study, pass the test. They got their 6, they got their 63, they got the life. I had all three life, 6, 63, did the same thing. The same thing. And you can actually outperform these investment advisors because they're giving you their best educated guess based on what their company is telling them to tell you. The last one, this is where it gets sexy. The passive income. The passive income, that's where the key that most people are trying to get to. How can I get to this passive? I'm Mr. E. Okay, let me get it in there. You probably can't see it because it's too light anyway, but that's all right. The passive income. So now that you've got everything up, now you look at the passive income. I went to this discipline. While doing my research, that I found that when I say discipline, they believe in not living beyond your means. Never living beyond your means. So if they have the policies that are set up, they have a trust, and we can, that's another video. The one of the wet videos, wealth, wills, estates, and trust. That's another part of it. But when the money comes down and the interest income that they're dispersing throughout the family, if you can't live beyond that interest income, you need to find something else to do. If you want to live beyond that income that's coming in their particular case, they have interest income. In your particular case, you have earned income. Then you must find something else that is going to create you. You must find another investment vehicle that will create you the passive income to live a lifestyle that you want to live. You can't raise your lifestyle without raising your income, whether it's passive income, whether it's earned income, whether it's disability income, whether it's social security income. I don't care where the income comes from. Income is going to come into your house, and I would suggest to you, just look at it, just put it down. When I stop working, how much retirement income am I going to have? How much disability income might I have? How much social security might I get? You can combine these things. and you can look to see what type of lifestyle you can afford to live. Unfortunately, statistics bear themselves out that most people, when they reach the retirement age, 6 years after retirement, they have to go back to work because the money is gone. Because they haven't put together a plan on the front end to say, what type of lifestyle am I going to live on the back end? And if you're living off that income that's put into your investment, and you miss those 10 or 30 days, and now that you've been putting into your 401k for the last 30 years, and you thought this $100,000 that you was going to have was going to turn into $600,000 that you're going to be able to live off the 10% income, $60,000 a year. Now that $100,000 has actually gone down, and you're looking at your account, you're ready to retire, and you got $65,000. Like, what in the world happened? What in the world happened? So these are the conversations that I would like us to begin to have in the African American community, so we can build ourselves up. What are your values? I would encourage you, put down in the comments, what are your core values which direct how you should be an investor? Are you an aggressive investor? Are you a medium-sized investor? Are you a passive investor? I would suggest to you, even if you're young, I believe that you don't have to be an aggressive investor. You hear, you're young, you can be aggressive. I believe when you're young, you don't have to take the risk. Why take the risk? Why not get into a small index fund that will pay you consistently over the next 20, 30, 40, 50 years? Especially if you have a young teenager. My son, he was 20. I'm telling him, son, just put some stuff away for the next 30 years. And now you can, but over the next 30 years, that small income is called compound interest. It begins to compound upon itself. The rule of 72. I'll show you that in another video. The rule of 72 is very impressive. But once we are not disciplined enough and we continue to take away from our funds, they never get a chance to compound. They never ever get a chance to compound because we're always utilizing it. But I found a trick. I found a tip that I will share with you on the next one. Hey, if this was any value to you, go ahead, like, follow, hit the subscribe button. Share this with somebody. Let's have a conversation of what it is that you're looking to do, and maybe it could be a fit for us that you could work with us. So some of the other videos you will be seeing us do, we will be talking about investment income and passive income. Where you see us out, we'll be interviewing people here, and that might be other avenues that you can utilize, that you can invest in to make more income. It's not about exactly what we want to do. It's your values, how you want to craft it, and you can bring it, and you'll be able to then come to the top. I see it all, man, let's go make that bag, and they want to jump on the mountain right here and just make that bag without having this foundation, and it always falls down. Always falls down. 96% of African American companies only have one employee. When that happens, we as a community, the dollars leave our community. We'll end up going back and we work for a predominantly white institution. That's what end up happening. We end up going back and working for a predominantly white institution, and the money doesn't stay in our community. And all I'm saying to you is, keep the money in the African American community, let it touch 4 or 5 times before it leaves out. What kind of business can you continually have? Because without that discipline, you're not going to give good service. Without that discipline, you may be tired. You're not going to show up. You're going to take shortcuts. Maybe not do as good of a job as you should have done because that discipline hasn't been instilled. What are the values of the company? Are you customer service oriented? Let's start with the values first and then build up to the bag. This is your partner, Frankie P. Hey, I'm going to ask you, like I said, please leave a comment. Go ahead, like, subscribe, keep following. Remember, you change your perspective, you change your life. When you change your perspective, the old money VIP playbook. And guess what's going to happen, guys? You're going to change your life. Peace.